Today for our post-match press conference, we're joined first by head coach Josh Wolf. As with all our previous press conferences, please be sure to utilize the raise hand function to indicate you'd like to ask a question. And on the first go around, please limit it to 2 questions per person. Phil, yours is the first hand I see up, so go ahead and start us off.
Yeah. So what is it about being on the road and scoring goals and getting shots? So two shots, no shots on goal. What's going on?
Well, I think you want to generate more shots. I think that's a safe thing to say, Phil. I think we had plenty of opportunities where we arrive in good spots, decision making and execution still harm us or do us damage on the road. We scored 6 goals at home. We could have had 8 or 9. It shouldn't change based on venue, but it's always difficult operating in the opposition's space. Again, I thought from a standpoint of what you want this game to look like going on the road to one of the more hostile, difficult places. I think they were the best record in the league last year at home. It's going to be challenging. Our ability to compete, duels, possess the ball, create corners. We knew we weren't going to necessarily set up shop like we do at home, but there were some clear pictures and opportunities, especially at the end of the first half, the last 10 minutes of the first half and the first 5 to 10 minutes of the second half. It was quite good. We're arriving in their box. We make poor decisions and poor execution in front of goal. Those things change games. There's no two ways about it. The margins are too thin. These guys had 5. St. Louis had 5 shots over the course of 85 minutes, 90 minutes. The extra time, I think they get 5 or 6. That's where the game's in transition. But we did a really good job throughout most of this game of minimizing who they are and what they want to be about. Outdueled them. Obviously, the shots are concerning. I agree with you. We got to generate more. But some of that, again, simply comes down to decision making and execution in the final third. I think Alex arrives in a spot where he can shoot. Seba sets him up. Obi's clean on. We don't get a shot. We have the flick at the back post at the start of the second half where Seba's getting on the end of it off of a really nice set piece, and we aren't able to finalize some of these actions. So some of that falls on us, our ability to make plays, but there's still a lot of good in this game. 1-0, it's disappointing to go home with nothing. I think we played well enough to grab a point, if not more.
Okay. And then Barry gets the start. So just kind of thoughts on his performance, what you saw from him, then obviously being able to get John back on for some minutes.
Yeah, I think for Biro, it's, the progression for him it takes time. It really does. I think he's come in games and as a sub, you can see he sees the game. The game has a different tempo when you come in as a sub, and the games as a starter has, there's a freshness to it. There's a combativeness to it. Again, I liked our ability to compete throughout this entire game. We know what this opponent was about. That side of things have been quite good this year. For him to grab and really truly understand all of our concepts, it takes time. I think, as we're, fairly flexible in our buildup to ask questions of the opponent, he can adjust his position more to get in better spots to ask more questions, certainly of St. Louis's midfield line as well as their back line. But I thought he did relatively well. Getting Jean on is obviously he's more familiar with what we're doing, and we had to change a few things there at the end to try to go for it and bring on a second striker and get a little different structure. But Z's, good to see him fit, and hopefully he can contribute going forward.
Thanks, Phil. CG, go ahead.
Hey, Josh.
Hello.
Besides shots, when you guys had the ball, is there what else would you have liked to have seen done differently?
Yeah, I think like anything, if you can get into the end of the first half, I think there were some real clean examples of what we tried to do. Obviously we can move the ball, and once we recirculate, we can start to ask a different question of who wants to press, and their back line does get stretched. But I mean, right away, the last 10 minutes, I mean, we're 4 for 3 on their last line. We're 3 for 2. We are literally dribbling in their box with, numerical superiority, positional superiority, and we just don't execute really well. So, are there opportunities as in the second half when we got up the field a little bit more in a controlled manner to set up shop? I think we did a decent job. When we're there, again, trying to get in line, looking to recirculate, stay in our overloads. I think we could have been more cleaner and more efficient with those things, as we've seen the last couple of weeks where we've been quite solid. But, it's a difficult place to play. The guys fought extremely hard. We stayed pretty organized throughout. Again, we minimized a lot of what they are, and their shot creation wasn't that high. Their expected goal, I can't imagine, was high until they score the goal. And obviously the last 10, 15 minutes, we got to go for it a little bit. I'd like to still maintain a little more control than, but we also, it was a structure, I think that certainly caused them a little bit of issues. We just have to execute there a little bit better as well.
And does their style of play, does that, like in the second half, and maybe kind of appeared naturally that guys were maybe getting a bit winded. Does their style of play just kind of lean into that with, what with running so much in the first half? And
Yeah, I think I'll have to look at the data for the volume, but I look at what they try to do without the ball. I feel like they faded at the end of the first half, which you can kind of expect because the way they play is very pressing. They're very in your face. Thus, we had a bit more of the end of the first half, which we create probably the best chances of the game up to that point, and then start of the second half very similar. So I think the way they play can take an effect on them just as much as it could potentially have an effect on us. But the middle of the field, they're very combative. It can be congested at times. We changed things throughout that first half just to one, have stability, but two, to start asking a little different question. And towards the end of the first half, I think Pepe operating as a 6 on his own starts to cause problems. It does come with a level of risk at times. So, but we were able to create some really clear chances. And again, we have to take those opportunities. The goals will always change games. It's a big part of it. Inside both penalty boxes is where games are decided. And where I like that we competed well and we generated corners and we, certainly some of the things that we focused on, possession was better, but you want to create more chances. There's no mistaking that.
1.6 XG on 11 shots, by the way.
Yeah, well, I would see what time did that expected goals go up, Phil? That's
I don't
what
know. I haven't broken down that part yet.
Probably from their goal and beyond. They had very, very little up until the goal. Shots, but nothing of consequence.
Thanks, Colby. Thanks, Phil. Laura, we'll go to you now.
Hi. So could you please explain the decision to pull out Heather O'Brien, who seemed to be one of the most active players in terms of ball movement during the game?
Just a decision, my decision.
Your decision? Did you had any drive about it?
Did I have any drive?
Yeah, like motive?
Yeah, I think I try to see what's happening in the game and what we can add to the game.
During the Spanish broadcast of the MLS game, they highlighted weaknesses on the left side where Owen Wolf was positioned. How do you plan to address and strain that area for the next game?
I'll have to look. I don't really know what that means.
Well, what they were explaining is pretty much the whole entire ball was passing on that area. And then they had like a graphic with that section passing on that area of Austin FC. I just wanted to see if you maybe saw that.
Yeah, I think I'll have to look at it. They overloaded the right side for sure. They ask more questions because they add more numbers, so it becomes more challenging. I could see how that starts to happen.
Thanks, Laura. Corey, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, nice to see you. Just wanted to ask about, I know this week in practice, you talked about the transition defense has been a point of emphasis, and for them to score the goal the way that they did, how frustrating is it to know that y'all did emphasize that during this week of practice?
Yeah, it's a quick attack. I mean, we have 7 guys in the penalty box. So for us, there's red zone defending. I think our guys will look at that and say it's a mistake on our part. Clearly, we have the numbers there. We're in the space to deal with it. But it's just about executing in the box. Again, we have more than enough numbers. You need to protect the space between the ball carrier and the goalkeeper and the cutback space. Those are the priorities. And that's, I think that's fairly fundamental with what we try to do and probably with what most teams do. It was a decision, obviously the players have to make decisions. So we didn't live up to the responsibility in that moment, and it cost us.
And on the flip side, Coach, you talked about a couple of chances that y'all had in front of goal with numbers.
Yeah.
How frustrating is that as a coach to see you're in position, but just not able to execute?
Yeah, no, it's you're happy that the guys, again, I think we created some, certainly even prior to the chances at the end of the first half and second half, some, as we're building up, the ability to get off the line and now start to progress to the weak side, and we just don't execute it. Whether Hot Air is dribbling inside and he fumbles the ball as we're going across the field, or as we're now starting to address the back line, we're stumbling or fumbling over the ball. So it's no fault other than it's just poor in the moment. There's pressure to perform. There's the diligence of what execution looks like. And, that's why the very best are the very best. And obviously we got to continue to work better at some of these areas with our guys. But, again, I think it's, the fact that we get to some of these areas, we got to do better. I think the players understand that. They know it as it happens. And, again, the strong part of the effort, the game tonight was certainly the effort and minimizing the opposition. We got to do better with some of those opportunities for sure.
Thanks, Corey. Jorge, go ahead.
Hi, Josh. I'm gonna take also the stats from the MLS. According with MLS, but Vito was the best, the best performers during the game, best qualifications, I mean, best score. And also, according with MLS, O'Brien was the player who was running faster about both teams. What do you saw on that? Because they were replaced first.
Yeah, no, I think those are interesting stats. So we'll look at it when I review it again.
Okay, and then what Laura was mentioned, I also heard the Spanish broadcast. They were talking about a lot of times about that. What do you see in Owen that you don't see on Valencia, on Rigoni, or even Finley?
I think we go into games. Obviously, we wanna put the best 11 out there to win each game. So those are decisions that I make as a coach.
So you're saying that Owen is better than anybody else?
I'm saying we make decisions based on what we think will win the game.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Jorge. Phil, is that an old hand or new question? I
Superb.
think you're on mute, Phil.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't have another.
I got you. Anybody else? Any more questions for Josh? Corey, you
Yeah,
got
yeah, I had one more. That's cool. Julio getting that yellow card, now out against Houston. Any thoughts on that right now? Or
Well, I mean, he'll be suspended, so we'll have the next 5 days to figure out what makes most sense for the game against Houston.
Thanks, Corey. Anybody else?
Yeah, one more very quick.
Go for it, Jorge.
Yeah, about Houston, I may not be on the midweek press conference about Houston. Houston won again. Is that something that gives you more pressure, or it's another team facing?
We'll prepare. We'll take a look at the video and we'll get working on Houston quickly.
All right.
Thanks, Jorge. Thanks, Coach, for joining us. Thanks, guys. Hold tight.
Who's our player? Do we know?
Should be Alex, but he was in the shower when I came in here, so I gotta ask him.
Okay, thanks.
All right, everyone. Thanks for sticking around. We're joined now by Austin FC midfielder Alex Ring. As with Josh's portion, please utilize the raise hand function to indicate you'd like to ask a question. Lauda, yours is the first hand I see up, so go ahead and start us off.
Okay, I'm on mute. Oh gosh. Okay, Alex, during the game, you made efforts to move and protect the ball on your side, yet the opponent consistently attacked down on the left flank. How do you believe we, like, as an Austin FC player, you can improve and defend it against this on the upcoming match against Houston?
I didn't hear the question. Can you say it again?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. So during the game, you made different efforts to move and protect the ball on your side, but yet the opponent consistently attacked the other side, the left-hand side. How do you believe we, as a Austin FC, or you as an Austin FC, can defend and against Houston, that is your next opponent?
Are you talking about their left side, our right side, or vice versa?
Your left side today was very flanky. Even though you tried to protect the ball on your side, San Luis came on your side. How can you like make sure that the side that is not yours, you can protect it
Lauda,
for the
just to
next
confirm,
game?
you're asking like how we can better defend the Austin FC left side.
Yeah,
Right.
I think the question was long. I'm sorry about that.
No, you're fine. Sorry, I just want to make sure before I answer. I don't look like an ass. Yeah, I think it's about players doing their job. We talked about it. I think it's just recognizing the situations faster, especially when Berkey was pinging the balls to our left side for us to start shifting there. Those are important plays, and if you do your job, we'll keep it in check. So that's probably all.
Yeah, today was a very weak side. They were analyzing on the MLS broadcast. That's why I'm asking. On the left-hand side that you guys had, it was like the ball, you guys lost the ball on the left-hand side. That's why I was asking that.
Okay, well, I'll have to see it again. When I play, I'm more in a tunnel vision, but yeah, it's just about, decision making, what type of balls you play to your teammate, and it is important to keep the ball. That's when we can rest and set up the attacks. And I think today, now and then we lost the ball a little unnecessarily, and yeah, that puts the game at a transition mode, which is never good.
Thanks, Lauda. Phil, we'll go to you next.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I mean, so no goals on the road so far, only 2 shots today. Why is it so much more difficult for this team to score on the road than at home?
I think, like I said, maybe the final decisions, setting up attacks, keeping the ball, letting guys join the attack. And then I think today we lacked a little bit of punch, to be honest, in the final third. Yeah, it was definitely a little bit frustrating in that sense, because the last couple of games we've been really good at that, and to not have that same punch here today is something we as players are gonna have to look at for sure.
You got another one, Phil, or you want me to move on?
Go around. I'll catch it back after.
Colby, go ahead.
Hey, Alex, with their style of play, I guess, how difficult does that make the second half from a, fitness perspective?
We know how they play. It's a very similar style to Red Bull, and I think if we take better care of the ball, we could have tired them out more. We know they always press 60, 65, 70 minutes, and then they'll have a drop off. But when the game becomes a lot more transitional than we would maybe like, especially in the second half, then yeah, you start to have big distances, and you can see it once you have the ball that
players are making wrong decisions. Yeah, it's I haven't seen the game. It's always combative against them, but definitely disappointed at this point. I have to watch it again.
Thanks.
That's
Colby.
all, Cam. You can move on to somebody else.
Thank you, sir. Corey, go ahead.
Hey, Alex, just wanted to follow up on what you just mentioned about how you felt like the team lacked that punch that y'all had over the last couple of matches. Is there a point throughout the match today where you felt that, like, oh, we're missing something? Or is that something that you kind of realized after the fact?
No, you probably realize it after the fact. I think we had a good period after the initial 20-25 minutes where we were able to keep the ball better, to progress into attacks. Had a couple of half chances. We changed our structure a little bit, and I think that helped us gain more control in their half. But yeah, then the second half, when it becomes transitional, you're relying on defending, on making defending plays, and that's always dangerous. I mean, the goal that they score, we give them the ball in the midfield, and then we're defending. I don't know how many we were, 4 or 5 against 1 in the box. So in the end, transition is transition, but when you're 5 against 1 in the box, you shouldn't concede.
And just on that note, how frustrating is that to know that was a point of emphasis this week during practice, was transition defense. And so giving up that goal in that way, how disappointing is that?
I think you can see it in my face, huh? Yeah, when you emphasize, then that's the way you concede. I don't think they had a lot before that. So yeah, it's definitely frustrating. And then you're chasing the game against a team that likes to play on the counter. And then it becomes the game it became. And yeah, it's definitely, from my personal perspective, very frustrating.
Thanks, Corey. Lauda, go ahead and take one more, and then Phil.
Alex, what do you think that Austin FC is missing to finally beat San Luis?
Today we missed a lot. Let's be honest. I think offensively it just wasn't good enough. We were a bit too sloppy. Against a team like this, you have to take your chances. If you score first and they have to open up, I think that's always an advantage for a team that plays on a counter attack, where you can make them come and make the game. But yeah, I mean, still haven't won against them, so as of now, they're better than us.
Phil, go ahead.
Yeah, so speaking of transition defense, there was a play right before halftime where Baru gave it away on a short corner, and you had to track back and made a tackle to probably save at least a shot, if not an outright goal. So just kind of thoughts about that play, like kind of what was going through your mind on that, and what your effort to get back and to stop that.
Part of my job now. I mean, we try to play a short corner, and I think Biro sees me on the top of the box, but gives it away, and then you always have to make the effort to track back. It was, I don't know how many yards for them to go to score, so the least you can do is try and catch up. And yeah, I mean, the rest, I hit the ball this time, so I was happy with that, but I don't think it was a defining moment in this game. I would have rather given up the foul and played at least 0-0 than making that tackle today.
Thanks, Phil. Jorge, go ahead and close us out, because we've got to run to the airport.
Yeah, sure. Just a couple quick questions. Alex, it seems like you guys, when we see the photos of your midweek like barbecue and all, the thing with the families, it seemed like you guys were in a very good motivation and everything. But today in the field, in my personal opinion, I saw everybody disconnected. What do you think it's happening between both days?
don't think a lot happened. I agree with you at times that we were disconnected today. But I think also at times we were quite compact. We didn't let a lot happen. I mean, at the end when we're chasing the game, yeah, they get counterattacks and could have scored one or two more because we're going for it. But yeah, I think the most important thing now is Saturday. Houston is coming up quick. Analyze the game and forget it quickly because it's going to be a different game. We're going on the road again, and every game we want to win. You know, we go for 3 points, and we can't be happy with our game today for sure. Best case scenario would have been we come away with a 0-0, and we thank our lucky stars because we weren't up to standard today. But yeah, I don't think it has. I think a positive mindset and a good vibe around the club, the locker room is of utmost importance. You know, why should we shouldn't be sitting there and sulking either. That won't solve anything. So you know, now we go back, we fly home, we recover, we watch the game, and then we forget about it and we focus on Houston.
On the last one, very quick, on the upcoming games, with this loss, the pressure goes all the way to the top, or is something that you guys may expect the 1-0?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Like with this loss, do you think the pressure on players and also the coaching, do you think that pressure goes to the top, or is just another game, the one we just finished?
Pressure is a privilege for soccer players especially. There are many other people who have real pressure in life, fighting for the next meal, not knowing how to pay rent and stuff. So I think as a sportsman, pressure is a privilege, and you should accept it and attack it. And if you don't, then you don't deserve to play.
Thank you. Now have a nice travel.
Yeah, you
Thanks,
too.
Jorge. Thanks, everybody. We'll close it there. Appreciate you guys. Have a good
Have
night.
a nice trip, y'all. Bye
Okay,
bye.
safe travels back.